Hi, everybody. This is Silvio Canto in Dallas, Texas on Saturday, January the 19th, and welcome to our video commentary. It's a little chilly here in North Texas, and I understand it's very cold in many parts of the country. So, wherever you are, please stay warm. Over the last week, we've seen a couple of examples of some pretty bad journalism. And it's a shame. It's a shame because I think that this kind of journalism is not good for the many, many, many serious people who practice the good profession of journalism. There's lots of good ones out there, but when you have these kinds of incidents, it just doesn't do them any good. The first one, of course, we talked about it a few days ago, was a story last week where the New York Times had a big headline story about President Trump being investigated for being a Russian agent. Well, it turns out that there's no such thing. The article itself in the 8th or ninth paragraph said, well, we have no evidence of it whatsoever. No one does. But I guess, we wanted to write a headline, I guess. Well, they did. They wrote a headline, but didn't do their reputation any good by writing that story. The second one just happened in the last 48 hours where there was, again, another big bombshell, and this is coming from BuzzFeed. And basically, BuzzFeed, I guess that's a internet service. It's not a print organization. They say that they have a story that President Trump told Michael Cohen to go into Congress and lie about his apparently association with a hotel in Russia or something like that. When I first heard the story, I was a little skeptical, to say the least, because it was just too uncollaborated. I guess that's the point. I mean, when you have these stories based on anonymous sources or somebody close to the organization, you get a little skeptical, to say the least. Well, shortly after the story broke, a very unusual thing happened. The special counsel's office, Mr. Mueller's office, put out a statement saying that story is not true. That story, that BuzzFeed story, is not true. So the story fell apart at that point. And it fell apart because Mr. Mueller or his office usually don't comment on news stories. They've stayed away from news stories over the last couple of years. But this time they decided to go out there and say that story was not true. And again, it blew up the story. And once again, we've got some journalists who are wondering why President Trump does so well when he talks about fake news. Look, I'm not happy about this. I think this is bad journalism, and this is the kind of stuff that I think gives the profession a bad name. I've had a lot of encounters over the years with good, serious reporters who are out there doing their best. They do their research. Of course, they make mistakes. We all make mistakes, but they're honest mistakes, and they correct them, but overall, they do a good job. But this is the kind of anti-Trump madness that seems to be driving so much of the media now. And it's hurting the media. It's not hurting Trump. It's hurting the media. Because stories like this that have to be shut down later end up hurting the media. And I don't understand why these people in the media don't realize. They're going to have to check their sources. Honestly, I wish they would stop running stories based on anonymous sources. I know once in a while you have to do that. But when you do it all the time, when it's all you do, I think it reaches a point where you're playing with fire. And one more time, a reporter got burned pretty badly by this fire. It's just a bad practice to be running stories based on anonymous sources. Once in a while, you have to do it, I understand. But I think when you do it all the time, eventually, you're going to have a problem like BuzzFeed just had over the last 48 hours. Well, thank you for watching. We have all of these on YouTube, on Twitter, and on my blog. And if January 19th is your birthday, happy birthday. Bye-bye, everybody.